Welcome back to the Sarah Vista Sunday Saloon, and thank you for joining me. I'd like to share something very special with you today and talk about a legend in Western movie soundtrack history. He is the severely under-celebrated musical star who goes by the name of Peter Tevis. Peter Edward Sanders Tevis, to give him his full name, was born on the 10th of February 1937 in Santa Barbara, California, USA. Young, creative and visually attractive, Peter studied electronics in the United States Navy, but dropped out of college in the 1960s after he won a scholarship to study acting in Italy with celebrated acting coach Lee Strasberg. Strasberg, you may remember, worked with several favourite superstars, including Marlon Brando, Marilyn Monroe and Eli Wallach. Although acting didn't become a full-time career move, Tevis was able to earn success as a lassoing cowboy novelty act on variety shows and by singing as a crooner. Peter's strapping good looks earned him a comfortable living and considerable notoriety as a heartthrob with the Italian ladies through photo romance comic-style books. I will be forever indebted to anyone who could help me locate one of these, so please get in touch if you think you can help. It was whilst living, singing and working as a model in Rome in the 1960s that Tevis met the man destined to become known as the maestro, Ennio Morricone. In 1962, apparently Peter suggested the two rework the 1942 Woody Guthrie hit, Pastures of Plenty, which they did and released on a 7-inch for RCA Records in Italy. Here's a clip of the song, edited by mi amigo Ray Watts.
It's a mighty hard road that these poor hands have hoed. My poor feet has traveled the hot, dusty road. Out of your dust bowl.
Morricone and the legend that is Alessandro Alessandroni went on to record a whole album with Peter, featuring 12 stunning Western-style versions of popular songs of the time, the release of which was suppressed by RCA Records in Italy until 1965, 1 year after the smash hit A Fistful of Dollars was released. Peter's dulcet tones soar through popular songs such as High Noon, Shenandoah and Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Fluent in Italian, Peter referred to himself at one point as the Italian Frankie Lane, and his incredible vocal and musical ability would certainly back up this claim. Tevis and Morricone continued to collaborate on a number of recordings, including A Gringo Like Me from the movie Gunfight at Red Sands in 1963, Lonesome Billy from Bullets Don't Argue in 1964, A Lone and Angry Man and a Man Must Fight with Francesco Di Masi for the movie A Coffin for the Sheriff in 1965. Peter was also credited with singing the theme song for an animated television series called Underdog in the 1960s. After 5 successful years in Rome, Peter became homesick and he returned to California, where he worked as a producer for Capitol Records, until being fired in what he considered a house-cleaning exercise. Tevis was married to actress Tiffany Bolling from 1969 to 1970, and he produced an album for her in that time. Tevis took this photograph and designed the cover. He also produced an album for Al Martino, which was released in 1974. Undaunted by Capitol, he began his own company called Eagle Records, but shortly after producing his first album for the label in '74, Peter renamed what was destined to become a wildly successful record label in the early 80s called Pet Records. Pet, named after his own initials, Peter Edward Tevis. Releases on this label actually were aimed at pet lovers, wanting to train their beloved feathered and furry friends. There was a record entitled How to Teach Your Bird to Sing, and another called Make Your Bird a Star, which includes some classic Hollywood one-liners like "Here's looking at you, kid," and "Come up and see me sometime." The biggest hit was Train Your Bird to Talk, with which he cornered the market in thousands of pet stores across America and Canada, earning him a best-selling gold album selling 500,000 copies. Peter's notoriety reached far and wide and led to promotional tours as far afield as New Zealand. In June 1982, Peter flew to Bristol in England to share his bird-talking secrets with Geoffrey Boswell, an award-winning producer with the BBC National History Unit. One of the Pet Tevis titles that sold a whopping 10,000 copies, that's currently just graced my vinyl collection, is Puppy Training, Start Your Puppy Right, which I hope will prove useful for my own four-legged friend, Indio. In 1984, Peter joined forces with local venue owner Val Messmer to form Money Tree Records, a specialist label named after Val's LA restaurant at the time, on which Peter said he aimed to shine a spotlight on some of the great local under-acknowledged jazz acts, including Karen Hernandez. In his later years, Peter lived between his home in the Hollywood Hills, Thailand, and Mercer Island near Seattle. Peter Tevis sadly suffered from Parkinson's disease, which affected his ability to sing, and he passed away on 13th of September in 2006, leaving behind a small but stunning collection of work. Tevis's early collaborations with Morricone were a large integral part in shaping the incredible Western sound that came to change the world of the movie soundtrack forever and prompted me to want to discover more about him. When planning this special edition of Sunday Saloon, I searched high and low for more information about Peter, but found very little. I eventually stumbled across and interviewed a kind gentleman journalist by the name of Rowland Harris, who in 1981 approached, interviewed and eventually worked for Peter as a writer of press releases and record liner notes. The pair maintained a close friendship for many years. Rowland was kind enough to share far more knowledge and insight into the life and character of a soft-spoken, talented person we both believe should be far more well-known and revered. I discovered on my travels and upon talking to Rowland that there was far more to know about Peter than I can fit in a short episode of my Sunday Saloon. So thank you to Rowland for taking the time to help me with this project. I live in hope that a film or a documentary about Peter's life and work may be commissioned in the very near future. May Peter's legend be known, celebrated, and live on.
The hate among men that comes from the wanting of gold destroys everyone young and old. When men reach the end of the chase and find that their life is a waste, they find their gold was in their chances, Now there's no new chance, no second chance, no new chance. When hate rules men's hearts, a strange kind of justice prevails.
In memory of Peter Edward Tevis, 1937 to 2006.